Part 40. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 391. There were even bedding in the bedroom. When I opened the closet, there were a lot of clothes inside. Especially in the main room, it looks like the couple's bedroom. Judging from the color and appearance of the clothes, it should be the bedroom of an old woman and her husband. Xianxia frowned. Didn't this old woman even bring any clothes with her? After Xianxia looked at the east and west wings of the main room, his eyes fell on the kitchen. When she walked into the kitchen, she found everything. There was even a lot of rice in the rice vat, and some wilted vegetables. There were many eggs in the basket, and there was still half a tank of water in the water vat. She saw there is a well in the yard, and the water should be drawn from the well. The kitchen is very clean. Although Xianxia doesn't have any mysophobia, the only thing she can't accept is the filth in the kitchen. She won't use it until it's been cleaned thoroughly. Opening the cupboard, you will find plates, bowls, chopsticks, and all kinds of bottles and jars inside. The more I look at Xianxia, the more I feel that the purchase for my yard is really worth it. The third entrance to the courtyard is where the former warehouse was. The back room is in the last row of the courtyard. There are also some rooms on both sides with traces of living inside. It should be the same as the reverse house in the front yard, where the servants originally lived. It seems that it's not that there are no servants here, but that they have been dismissed or bought out. At this time, Xianxia realized that they also needed to find a few servants. With such a big yard, even if she had time, she would not waste it doing housework. But this matter has to wait until Kong comes out and lets him handle it. I think he is better at this than me. I still have to live tonight. Xianxia cleaned up the original owner's things in the main room and stacked in another box where there was a owner. These personal items, even if she is not misophobic, she is not used to using others. What's more, the original owners of these things are no longer alive. They will discuss it after Kong comes out and then decide how to deal with these things. Since the old woman didn't take it with her, she just didn't want it. She scrubbed the rooms on the left and right of the main house, took out her bedding and daily necessities and placed them in the room on the right. She planned to live here, leaving the left for Hong. After everything was packed up, Hong took out the food Hong had bought for her from the space and ate some. After all, the neighbors around the yard she bought today must know it. It is inevitable that curious people will investigate. She will be suspected if she disappears for no reason. Before Hong came out, she was not prepared to enter the space. After eating, continue to refine the elixir. At this time, the nephew of the old woman who was poisoned by her was kneeling at the feet of a man. "Young master, my aunt's house has been sold. The new owner is a teenage girl who comes from the lower continent and is good at using drugs. Our brothers wanted to occupy the yard to facilitate the search by the young master, but we are no match for her. We the brothers are all poisoned, please help us." Yes, they knew they were poisoned and called several alchemists, but no one was sure what kind of poison they were poisoned with. Even after taking several antidote pills, it had no effect. They still couldn't use spiritual energy. So he could only come to beg this young master. The young man sitting on the chair glanced at him. "I'll let someone show you later." "Is there any place for valuables in your aunt's house?" the man kneeling on the ground said. "There is a place in the back room of his house. If it's not in the warehouse, it's probably in their bedroom and study room. I think there should be hidden compartments in their bedroom and study room, but I didn't find it." "Does she have any other property?" the young master asked again. The man shook his head and said, "No, my aunt said at the beginning that they sold the house they originally lived in and came back here to buy this yard because they wanted to retire in their hometown." Seeing that the young master couldn't find anything, he waved his hand and asked his followers to take him down and let the alchemist who was accompanying him take a look at him. His personal attendant came back after a while. "Master, The poison in his body is very strange, and it is impossible to detect it. If he hadn't said that, even the alchemists would not have discovered that he was poisoned. In other words, our accompanying alchemist can't do anything. The young master raised his eyebrows. Yes, he responded. The young master knocked his hand on the table again and again. Let him come to the door in person tomorrow to apologize and buy the antidote. It doesn't matter how much it is worth, but he must take it back and give it to our alchemist to check before giving it to him. The follower was stunned for a moment, thinking of the other party's superb poison skills. He understood, and immediately responded, yes. Xianxia didn't stop refining the elixir until the night got dark in the evening. In one more day, she would be able to finish refining all the 7th grade elixir recipes. Stretched out and walked to the lotus pond. There were actually more than a dozen red and yellow koi carp inside. Seeing her coming, they all swam over. Xianxia said funnily, "You are hungry." She had no other food to feed the fish, so she took out a piece of snack, crushed it and threw it on the water. The koi fish immediately started fighting for it, and the sound of their tails slapping against the water made people relax easily. After living for so long, Xianxia felt solid and peaceful for the first time. After feeding the fish for a while, Xianxia went to sit in the pavilion on the rockery nearby for a while. The location here is high, and she can see the scenes in the adjacent mansions. She can see other people, and naturally they can also see her. Therefore, when she saw someone walking around in the yard next door, she got down from the pavilion. She didn't plan to eat at night. She went back to her room to practice until midnight. Suddenly she noticed someone coming in from the backyard. She immediately withdrew her consciousness and lay down pretending to be asleep. Sure enough, within a moment, divine consciousness came over to investigate, and soon the divine consciousness was withdrawn. Xianxia knew that this divine consciousness was stronger than hers, which meant that the other party's cultivation level was higher than hers. She did not dare to use divine consciousness to investigate it. Ask Jishan to go to the backyard to see what the person wants to do. Jishan is already very skilled at this job. He reduced himself to his smallest state and went to the backyard very quickly, using plants to cover the people looking at the backyard. The visitor searched the rooms one by one, especially the locked rooms. The man went in and rummaged for a long time until he had rummaged through all the rooms. Then he went to the study in the front yard and searched a lot in the study. It took a long time before I left the study. I stood outside the master bedroom for a while, as if hesitating whether to go in, but then I turned around and left. After Zetian came back, he told Xianxia what he saw in detail. Xianxia knew that the visitor must be related to the old woman. She had just arrived in Xiangyang City and had not offended anyone. Moreover, the visitor was obviously looking for something. What the visitors are definitely not looking for are the weapon refining materials. The old woman should have something they want in her hand. The fragrance falls ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 392. Chapter 392. There is a real secret pattern. The old woman has lost all her cultivation, so she probably won't be able to keep her storage ring and kinkan bag. Otherwise, she would have lost all her belongings at home, and no one would come to the yard to look for things. It should be that the other party has confirmed that the old woman does not have what they want. Could it be that what they were looking for was really in this yard? Xianxia's brain was working rapidly. Without Ji Zhong as a think tank, she would have to use her own brain. Since that person searched the study and found nothing, they must think that the only place where they can hide things is the master bedroom. It seems that she will find a chance to go out for a walk tomorrow to give the other person a chance to search the master bedroom. Let Jishan go back into space, and call out the clouds again. Yun Tuan, please check this mansion carefully to see if there are any secret passages or secret doors and if there are any treasures. Yun Tuan said, there are no treasures. I'll go and see if there are any secret passages or secret compartments. Yan Xianglue was helpless about the high vision of her spiritual pet. There were so many natural and earthly treasures that caught her eye. She understood very well that anything that was not recognized by Yun Tuan was not considered a treasure. Forget it, let it see if there are any secret passages or secret cells. If there are any, go find them yourself. Judging from Yun Tuan's reaction, the thing the other party was looking for was not there and it was just a treasure. Maybe it was just something important to them. Soon Yun Tuan came back. Master, there is a secret compartment in the study, and there is also a secret compartment in the bedroom on the left. There are things in them, but there are no treasures. Yu Xianglue was stunned. There really is a secret pattern. The bedroom on the left should be where the couple lived. Is the secret grid easy to find? Yan Xianglue asked. Yun Tuan said, it is extremely secretive. It is difficult to find people who don't know it, unless they are very proficient in the mechanism. Since no one could be found in the secret compartment in the study, and the other party in the bedroom might not be able to find it, she was not going to use these two secret compartments now. It seemed that she had to go out tomorrow. Give the other person a chance to rummage, so that you can be cleaner in the future. What kind of yard did she buy? Why did she feel that buying it was a hassle? If she hadn't really liked this yard, she would have wanted to sell it and get another one. Yan Xianglue was no longer in the mood to practice, so she asked Yun Tuan to accompany her outside. Yun Tuan nestled next to her pillow, a small, fluffy ball, and she fell asleep peacefully. Early the next morning, she prepared to go out after washing up. As soon as she opened the door, she saw the old woman's nephew, followed by a man. He was not the one who made trouble yesterday. He had an extraordinary temperament and a faint murderous aura about him. Yan Xianglue looked at the man. It seemed that someone had bribed the old woman's nephew. No wonder the old woman hated her nephew so much. But no matter how much she disliked the old woman, she spared his life, obviously because of her blood relationship. Yan Xianglue asked the old woman's nephew, "What are you doing here?" The old woman's nephew rolled his eyes in his heart. Isn't this asking questions knowingly? Yesterday you poisoned us, and today I came to you. Naturally, I want to detoxify. Girl, yesterday I was blind and offended the girl. Today I came here specifically to apologize and ask the girl to be merciful and spare my life. Yan Xianglue sneered. This man could do anything to survive. Even his own aunt could be betrayed. There was nothing he couldn't do. I don't see the sincerity of your apology either. The man immediately took out a brocade box and handed it over. If you are sincere, please accept it. Yan Xianglue glanced at the brocade box in his hand, but opened it directly in his hand without taking it. Inside was a white ginseng that was 3,000 years old. A dark light flashed through Yan Xianglue's apricot eyes. Was this to test whether she was an alchemist? I have white ginseng that is 3,000 years old. Yan Xianglue closed the brocade box with a tone of disgust and rejection. Upon hearing this, the old woman's nephew immediately forced the brocade box into Xianglue's arms. Young lady is an alchemist. Why do you think there are so many medicinal materials? Keep them for later. Yan Xianglue picked up the brocade box in her hand and raised the corners of her lips. Want an antidote? The old woman's nephew nodded immediately. Okay, Yan Xianglue responded happily. The old woman's nephew suddenly smiled and said in a doggy voice, young lady is really a good girl with a kind heart. Thank you very much. I also have several friends of mine, please show me your kindness. Okay, Yan Xianglue agreed happily. The old woman's nephew rubbed his hands and said with a shy face, when will the girl give me the antidote? 1 detoxification pill and 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Once the spiritual stones are obtained, the detoxification pill will be given to you, Yan Xianglue said with a smile. The old woman's nephew's face suddenly froze and he pointed at the white ginseng in her arms. This. I was embarrassed to say it directly, and I could see that the fragrance was clear, but he wanted to use this white to exchange a few detoxification den. He thought it was beautiful. Why, isn't the white ginseng an apology? You don't want to exchange the white ginseng for the detoxification pill, do you? What you think is very beautiful. This white ginseng is not as valuable as the dregs of the detoxification pill I used to practice, let alone a few detoxification pills. It's impossible to get even one pill. You're not too shy. Yan Xianglou didn't give him any face. The old woman's nephew's face turned red and blue, and he hated Yan Xianglou in his heart, but he did not dare to show it at all because of the detoxification pill. This white ginseng tree was given to him by your noble master. He couldn't get anything more valuable. At this time, the man standing behind him spoke, "Girl, this price is too expensive. You don't have to buy it." Yan Xianglou shrugged, turned around, locked the door and walked towards the entrance of the alley. The man only said one sentence before he was choked by Yan Xianglou's words. This is a mockery of their inability to see the formality. It is you who beg me, not me who begs you. You came to me to buy antidote pills just because you couldn't detoxify them. In that case, the price I say is the price. You don't have to buy it if you think it's expensive, but you don't have the right to bargain. Miss, please stay. We will buy 5 antidote pills. When can you give them to us? The man thought of his master's words and said immediately. The master said that he would buy it for any amount of money. Apparently, the master had long realized that this girl could talk like a lion. Yan Xianglou did not look back. Whenever you give me the spirit stone, I will give you the antidote pill, but not now. I have to go out to have breakfast and buy things, and I will be back in an hour at the earliest. Okay, let's come back in an hour and hand over the spiritual stone in one hand and the detoxifying pill in the other, the man said immediately. I'm afraid it's too late and Xianglou's figure has disappeared. Yan Xianglou did not respond, but raised her hand and waved to show that she heard. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 393. Seeing the fiery red figure disappear at the entrance of the alley, the old woman's nephew dared to say, "She is too arrogant." The implication is that I want to provoke the man to complain to the noble master. It is best to get the antidote and the noble master will kill the little girl. The man saw through his mind at a glance and glanced at him. I have the capital to be arrogant. In one sentence, I would not dare to say anything that would make the old woman's nephew complain. The man looked back at the locked door, and immediately took out the sound transmission stone and told his master, "Master, she went out and will be back in an hour." "Where is the detoxification pill?" the other party asked. 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones and 1 detoxifying pill, the man said with insufficient confidence. Although elixirs have always been very expensive, it is outrageous for an antidote pill to be so expensive. But there is no way. Why are all the alchemists in Xiangyang City unable to refine an antidote pill to detoxify this poison? The other party obviously didn't expect that Yan Xianglou would open her mouth to such an extent. She paused and said, "Buy." The man felt relieved when he saw that his master did not reprimand him and agreed to buy the detoxification pill. 50,000 high-grade spiritual stones is not a small sum. She only spent 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones to buy this yard. 5 antidote pills cost 50,000 high-grade spiritual stones. No wonder people say that alchemists are rich. That's not right. The alchemist next to my master doesn't have the money to do this. Originally, when the owner knew that the old lady was selling the yard, he wanted to arrange for his people to buy it, but before the arranger made a move, the yard was sold early in the morning. It caught them off guard. They never expected that they would sell it the night before and sell it early the next morning. No one else could do it at such a speed. It is very troublesome to look for things now, but there are no people in the yard yet, and the only owner is not at home, so it is a good time to look for things. Although Ruan Xiangloo left home, she left Jishan at home. Sure enough, not long after she left home, there were people at home. This time, it was not only the man from last night, but also a dozen people dressed as guards. They rummaged through the entire mansion again, mainly searching the warehouse, study, and bedrooms, but unfortunately, they still couldn't find what they were looking for. After breakfast, Yan Xiangloo went shopping again, bought a lot of useful things and food, and took the time to go back. Just when she walked into the alley, Zetian said, "Master, they are all gone." Yan Xiangloo knew that someone had been following her, and they only evacuated when they saw that she was back and had tipped off the people. When I turned the corner, I saw the man who had made the decision standing at the door of the house. The old woman's nephew did not come this time. She knew very well about this method. The old woman's nephew was just a medium for them to talk to her. They won't give up if they don't find something, and they will try to find ways to contact them. Yan Xiangloo glanced at him. "Where is the spirit stone?" The man took out a kinkin bag and handed it to her. Yan Xiangloo took it and took a look at the quality and quantity of the spirit stones inside. She put all the spirit stones inside into her storage ring, and then took out a medicine bottle to put them in. In the kinkin bag, he threw it to the man. Inside are the detoxifying pills she had refined yesterday, according to the number of people they have, 1 pill for each person, no more and no less. The man caught the kinkin bag, took out the medicine bottle inside, opened it and took a look. Although it was an antidote, he didn't know how it worked. "Can Miss you guarantee the effectiveness of the detoxification pill?" Yan Xiangloo took out the key and unlocked the courtyard door, and said to the man, "I'm right here. Is it possible that I can still run away? Besides, I won't smash my own sign. I'm not bragging about alchemy and medical skills. I've never taken it from anyone. Don't you know that when you learn medicine, you first learn poison, and what they have is not really poison?" Hualuo pushed open the door and walked in. He closed the door with a bang. He was obviously in a bad mood. The man outside looked at the closed door with a gloomy expression. Should he learn medicine before he learns poison? It seems that she also has medical skills. No wonder the alchemist raised by the master has no clue. Took the medicine bottle and went back to resume his life. "She really said that?" the noble master asked, playing with the medicine bottle. "It's word for word. She did say that she has never taken medicine from anyone other than medicine or alchemy. To learn medicine, you must first learn poison, and the poison they have is not that big of a deal. The meaning is obvious. I haven't actually poisoned him yet." "Interesting. Do all the alchemists in the lower mainland learn the art of poison?" The noble prince raised the corners of his lips when he thought of a poisoning incident that happened in the mainland this year. That matter was suppressed by the Lord of the Twilight Continent. Although people outside did not know about it, how could they, the big family forces, not know about it at all? However, it was said that the man came from the lower continent and was going to be branded as a slave. Got angry, poisoned him, and then left in a swaggering manner. No one knows exactly who this person is. If Yan Xiangloo knew about this, she would definitely be excited. Who else could she do besides her master? The alchemist who was studying the ingredients of the detoxification pill wiped the cold sweat on his head and said cautiously, "Master, I can't tell what medicinal materials are used in the detoxification pill." "Can't you see anything?" Your Excellency glanced at him. The alchemist said in embarrassment, "I can't see anything at all." "What's the grade of the detoxification pill?" Your Excellency asked again. The alchemist said in confusion, "I can't tell the grade of this antidote pill at all. This is too embarrassing. He just doesn't know the ingredients of the detoxification pill. He can't even tell the grade of the detoxification pill. He has never been so embarrassed since he became an alchemist. Being able to stay with his master, naturally his alchemy talent is pretty good. Your young master paused and did not blame the alchemist for being a waste. He still understood that there are people outside the world. He threw the medicine bottle to the alchemist, "Take it and give it to them to see the effect." The alchemist caught the bottle of medicine and ran out. He came back after a while and said excitedly, "Master, it's so miraculous and powerful. No wonder she is so arrogant." The effect is excellent. Your young master knew the result when he saw the alchemist's expression. "It's not very good, it's super good. The elixir melts in the mouth and enters the body and takes effect. They can use their spiritual power immediately. I have never seen an elixir that takes effect so quickly." One thing he didn't say was that even his master couldn't do this, let alone him. Your young master squinted his eyes thoughtfully. "Your Majesty will personally visit this young lady tomorrow." The follower was stunned for a moment and said, "Master, this is too risky." Your young master sneered, "How can a little girl like her make such big waves?" The person who met Yan Xianglou today to buy antidote pills was the person he met in person. He didn't think so. Yan Xianglou gave him the feeling that she could turn the world upside down if she wanted to. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 394. He thought of Yan Xianglou's calm look and arrogant tone. If he hadn't clearly known that she was from a lower continent, he would have suspected that she was a powerful figure sent by a rival family. Thinking of this, his eyes lit up. "Master, no one from the lower continent has been able to leave the Dusui continent and settle in the inner continent. Could she be sent by the Lu family?" Hearing this, the noble master said, "I don't rule out this possibility. Yesterday, I arranged for someone to go to Musui continent to check her experience. I heard that she also has a fiancé, but she hasn't seen anyone in the past 2 days. The news tonight, no matter what the news is, I will go there in person tomorrow." He had a good idea that such an outstanding woman's fiancé would be no less good, or even better than her. However, it's not like he's a weakling. He can't make a conclusion until the news comes back and he doesn't see the person with his own eyes. No matter whether the other party is from the Lord of the Twilight Continent or not, he cannot give up looking for something. Yan Xianglou didn't know yet that their experiences in the Musui continent would be found out, so she returned home to continue refining elixirs. At night, when she was practicing, she realized that Ji Zhong in the space had finally finished her training, so she immediately quit practicing and looked into the space. Ji Zhong came out after a while. This time he was much more embarrassed than last time. He started to advance without waiting for a moment. Ji Zhong couldn't stop advancing from the beginning. He advanced to the first level, the second level, the third level, and then the fourth level in a row, stopping at the peak of the 9th level of the zone level. Had it not been for the opportunity needed to break through to the Emperor level, I'm afraid he still wouldn't be able to stop. Yan Xiang felt sad. How could he advance to so many levels? He had advanced to one level more than him before. It was also his first experience. He advanced to level 1 and he also advanced to level 1. He felt quite balanced. Why did he advance this time? It's level 4. Although she was happy for him as his cultivation level got higher, it was true that she felt sour in her heart. Originally came to the higher continent together, and their cultivation levels were finally the same, but now they are far apart. It seems that she should really find time to go into the palace to practice. Not to mention, the space magic weapon given to her by her senior brother is really a good thing. Ji Zhong was very excited after his promotion was over, as he was one step closer to his plan. "I wanted to share the joy with my beloved Luoluo immediately, but I didn't see Yan Xianglou in the space. When I was about to come out of the space, I saw a huge pile of weapon refining materials piled in the open space of the space. What's going on? What's happening these days? His little girl is also very capable, and she will do something big if she is not careful. Xuanhuan just glanced at the refining materials and came out of the space. Then he saw Yu Xianglou sitting at the table with her chin in her hands and looking at him resentfully. Although she has changed back into women's clothing, her appearance is not her original one, but her eyes cannot be disguised. Luoluo, what's wrong? Someone bullied you? Where are you? What happened to the weapon refining materials in the space? What happened these days? Xuanhuan found that he seemed to have many questions to ask. Yan Xianglou sighed, but did not say that the reason for her bad mood was because she was upset that he was promoted quickly. This is Xiangyang City. This is the yard I bought. The pile of weapon refining materials was given as a gift when I bought the yard. Xuanhuang's mouth twitched. During the time he was practicing, this girl came to Xiangyang City by herself. Not only did he come to Xiangyang City, he also bought a yard. Not only did he buy a yard, but he also gave him weapons refining materials. Why has he never encountered such a good thing? As a weapon refiner himself, he was very aware of the value of that pile of weapon refinement materials. He didn't know how old the yard she bought was, but it was definitely not comparable to that pile of weapon refinement materials. How much money did his little girl spend to buy this yard? Don't let anyone fool you. How much did Luoluo pay for this yard? Xuanhuan resisted the urge to hug her because he was still wearing his training clothes and was a little dirty, and sat down opposite her. Yan Xianglou stretched out a finger, and Xuanhuang's phoenix eyes flashed, 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones. The little girl is quite rich and can afford 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Yan Xianglou shook his head, and Xuanhuang frowned. Could it be 1,000,000? He didn't think his little girl had so many high-grade spiritual stones to buy this yard. Even if the future father-in-law has spiritual stones, he will definitely not have that many. 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Yan Xianglou didn't hesitate and told him directly. Xuanhuang looked at her in disbelief. Are you sure? Just buy a courtyard and get 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones from Thuxin. After all, when he decided to settle in Xiangyang City, he paid attention to some information about Xiangyang City. Although Xiangyang City is not the capital of the southern continent, it is indeed the most beautiful and comfortable city. Also because it is close to Yunzhang Palace, there are more people living there than in the capital city. Yan Xianglou rolled her eyes at him, took out the house deed and slapped it in front of him. The house deed is all in my name, is it still fake? Xuanhuang saw Yu Xiangluo's name on the house deed and believed that this girl really spent 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones to buy the yard. The owner also gave valuable weapon refining materials as a gift. However, there is no free lunch in this world, and there may be something wrong with it. Seeing that you are in a bad mood, is someone bullying you? Because of this yard, Xuanhuang thought that she had not answered when he asked her before, so she must have been bullied. When mentioning being bullied, Yan Xianglou immediately pouted and said, someone really bullied me. Xuanhuang's eyes turned cold upon hearing this. Who? Who dares to bully his little girl? Even if he has not yet become a strong man, he is not afraid of them. He has many methods. I've already returned it. If you want to bully me, there are no doors or windows, Yan Xianglou said angrily. The person who finally supported her came out, and she suddenly felt a lot more confident. Xuanhuang breathed a sigh of relief. Since she could return it by herself, it meant that things were still under control. Tell me, what happened these days? How did you come to Xiangyang City? When did you arrive, and how did you buy the yard? Xuanhuang knew that things were still under control, so he was not so worried. He wanted to know in detail what happened to this girl these days. The most important thing is who bullied her, thinking that she could just take it back. There is nothing cheap about him. The corner of Yan Xiangluo's mouth twitched. This man regarded herself as a child, but thinking that he was worried about her, she didn't care about it. Xuanhuan would tell him about her experiences these days without asking. The main reason is that Xuanhuan has always been in the habit of leaving messages for his people along the way, but these days she has been walking with the Changqing team. Xuanhuan did not come out and did not leave any messages. She was worried about Changfeng when they came, they couldn't find Xuanhuan. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 395. Yanxiangluo looked at his embarrassed look and knew that he had mysophobia. This was because he was worried about himself, so he ignored the dirty clothes on his body, and his heart suddenly felt warm. There's no rush. Go freshen up and change your clothes first, and we'll talk later. Xuanhuan was actually feeling very uncomfortable, so he didn't object after hearing her words. He stood up and looked around the room. Yanxiangluo pointed to the opposite side and said, "This is my bedroom, and yours is opposite. I have cleaned the room. You can just put your bedding on it and move in. There is a well in the yard, and the water in the kitchen tank is the water was used by the previous owner, and I didn't use half of it." After hearing her words, Xuanhuan felt like he was being nagged by his little wife. This was the first time someone had talked to him in such a nagging way. He liked this feeling very much. "Okay," he responded and went out. I walked through the main room and went to his room. The size and layout of the room were the same as the one where Yanxiangluo lived. It was kept spotless and her heart felt warm. Luoluo knew that he had mysophobia and began to take into account his feelings, explaining that she was in the room. The position in her heart became heavy again. Took out his bedding and daily necessities, found a set of clothes, and then went to the yard. Although it was the middle of the night, for their cultivation level, the darkness could not block their sight, and he could clearly see the layout of the yard. No wonder this girl bought this yard, it looks very comfortable indeed. After getting some water, he went back to the room and did a simple wash. He changed into clean clothes and returned to his original appearance. When he turned around and went out, he saw Yanxiangluo sitting on a chair in the main room. There was a tea set on the table. They were using it in the space. That's it. Seeing him come out, Yanxiangluo immediately poured him a cup of tea and placed it in front of him. The tea is spiritual tea. Xuanhuan gave it to her before. Once she got used to drinking this tea, she no longer felt the same when drinking other teas. Xuanhuan sat down and saw that she didn't drink tea, so he poured her a cup. Then he drank the tea that Yanxiangluo poured for him, and then said, "Let's talk." Only then did Yanxiangluo tell him what she had experienced during his training in detail, without omitting anything. Xuanhuan didn't speak for a while after hearing this. Yanxiangluo knew that he was smoothing over these things. She also wanted to know where she had not thought thoroughly, especially about this yard and the old woman, and how she had always wanted to start from the yard. The person who finds something inside actually has no confidence. She didn't expect to get into trouble when she first came here, but things happened and she couldn't escape them. They had to be solved. In her heart, there is nothing that Xuanhuan cannot solve. After a while, Xuanhuan said, "The most troublesome thing now is the person who is looking for something. Since the other party believes that the thing is in this yard, they will not give up if they can't find it. Judging from the situation of their rummaging, they want to. It's not the weapon refining materials. Let's take out the things in the secret room first and see if they are what the other party is looking for. If it is something difficult, put it in there and let them find it." Although Luoluo has been through a lot in the past few days, she has handled the matter very well. However, buying this yard is really troublesome. Since Luoluo knew about trouble and bought this yard, it proves that she likes it very much, so he will take the trouble out of it. Get rid of it. As long as it is not something that can easily implicate them, letting the other party find and take it away is the best solution. As for the man named Li Changhao whom she admires very much, let's wait until she actually meets him. There was also the old woman who was the original head of the household in the yard. The dragon head crutch in her hand felt familiar, but she couldn't remember it no matter how hard she thought about it. But he took it to heart. Yan Xiangloo nodded, I just wanted to wait for you to come out before opening it. Xuanhuan was very pleased that she trusted and relied on him so much and felt that he was becoming more and more important to her. Seeing that although she had resumed her women's clothing, she still knew how to cover up her appearance, and knew that she was frightened by Lu Yu, who was in the old country. Now that they have come to the inner continent, they cannot always show others a false face. From now on, you can show your true face to others. Luo, don't you want to use your medical skills to make a name for yourself? You can't let people not recognize you. Although restoring her true appearance may cause unnecessary trouble, this is the inner continent, the most well-informed place, and the easiest place to find her parents and master. Besides, his people should have arrived, and his power will be re-established soon. This is the main reason why he works so hard to improve his cultivation. He wants to have the cultivation and strength to protect her as she pleases. At that time, he can do whatever he wants with Luo, and she should be free and happy. Yan Xiangloo touched her face and sighed, if you look ugly, you will feel uncomfortable. If you look good, you will have too many troubles. However, he still raised his hand to wipe away the mysterious lines on his body and restored his appearance. Xuanhuan was right. If she wanted to be famous for her medical skills, she couldn't use a mask, otherwise no one would know it was her. Xuanhuan felt as if he hadn't seen him for a long time when he saw the familiar face. After all, they had been using masks to show off to others during this period. He stretched out his hand to rub her head, I'm here, just leave it to me to solve the problem. Xiang's face suddenly felt a little hot. This person really could always use the most serious words to make her feel that they were not serious. Yan Xiangloo swatted away his hand that was making trouble on her head and called out Yun Tuan saw that both of them had returned to their true appearance, and his black eyes rolled around. He still looked at them like this, and they had to make them look ugly. They looked so good. He cursed a few times in his heart, but moved quickly and rushed into Xuanhuan's room. He pointed at the closet with his little paw, Master, the secret compartment is under the closet. You need to turn the closet over to see it. Yan Xiangloo told Xuanhuan, and Xuanhuan easily turned over the wardrobe, exposing the bottom. Yan Xiangloo squatted next to Xuanhuan, and the two of them studied for a long time but couldn't figure out where the secret grid was. Yun Tuan, where is the hidden grid? Didn't you say you can see it from the other way around? There was no other way but to let Yun Tuan take action. Originally, they wanted to research first to see if they could find the hidden compartment. Now it seems that there is a reason why those people searched several times but failed to find the hidden compartment. Now they know that the hidden compartment is under the wardrobe and they have found it. No wonder they couldn't find it. You don't know it even if you hid it right under your nose. Yun Tuan's little paw pointed at the lower left side of the wardrobe, it's right here, it's about this big, and I don't know how to open this thing. Xuanhuan looked at the position drawn by the clouds. It was a long hidden grid, but no matter how it looked, it was a whole board that fit together perfectly. Could it be that it was inside? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 396. After all, he has checked it several times, and there is no place to put the mechanism at all. Although the black box is not big, how did it get put in? It can only be inside. Could it be opened from the inside? Yan Xiangloo also thought of this and pointed to the inside of the closet. At the bottom of the wardrobe are two drawers, connected to the bottom. Xuanhuan raised his hand and pulled out the drawer. The space inside was small, so Xuanhuan put in a lighting bead to see clearly what was inside. After studying it for a while, he reached in and started tinkering with it, while Yanxiangluo squatted aside and watched. Suddenly she heard a slight clicking sound and saw that the entire board under the wardrobe was opened. Xuanhuan reached out to catch the board to prevent it from hitting the ground and damaging the board. She would have to put it back together later. There is a very narrow, palm-long box at the point where the cloud points inside. It is just inlaid between the square wood holding the drawer and the bottom board. Nothing can be seen from the inside. Xuanhuan took down the box and Yanxiangluo looked at it curiously, wanting to know what was inside. Xuanhuan narrowed his eyes. Why did he feel familiar again? He studied it for a while, and then followed a feeling and opened the box. He was a little surprised. The box was too easy to open. Yanxiangluo didn't know what he was thinking. He was definitely very powerful, and he opened the box so quickly. As soon as the box was opened, Xuanhuan and Yanxiangluo were stunned. There was a dark token inside, shaped like a small dagger. What surprised them was the words on the token. There is no pattern on the token, only 2 words 9 levels are engraved on it. Yanxiangluo looked at the words on the token and then looked at Xuanhuan. Is this a coincidence? Xuanhuan's name is actually engraved on it. Xuanhuan calmed down quickly after being surprised. Maybe it meant Zhongtian, not his name. He picked up the token and looked behind him. His heart, which had just calmed down, was startled again. Because there are also 2 words behind the token, he can also understand the 2 words in front of it as the meaning of Zhongtian, not someone's name. But when they saw the last 2 words, neither of them calmed down. Only because there are 2 words Xiangloo engraved on the back. If the 9 layers in the front are a coincidence, the fragrant fall in the back is not easy to be a coincidence. How to explain this? Yan Xiangluo's big apricot eyes widened. What's going on? Why are our names on this token? Xuanhuan was also confused, and seeing this token, Xuanhuan felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. He wanted to catch what he remembered, but he felt nothing. He knew that this was definitely not normal. He had felt an inexplicable familiarity with the old woman's dragon head crutches ever since he heard what Luoluo said about them. Up to now, this feeling of familiarity had appeared 3 times. This was definitely not a coincidence. However, he and Luoluo had just arrived here, so there could be nothing that had anything to do with them, but what happened in front of him could not be explained by his cleverness. This inexplicable sense of familiarity made it impossible for him to ignore it even if he wanted to. Yan Xiangluo thought of what the 5th senior brother said, and she suddenly looked at Xuanhuan. Did she really have any entanglement with Xuanhuan in his previous life? If this is the case, it would make sense. This token is probably from their previous life. Fate is really wonderful. We can meet again in this life if we met in the past life. Do you believe in past and present lives? Yan Xiangluo suddenly asked. Xuanhuan was stunned and looked at the token in his hand. Luoluo thinks this is something from our previous life. We knew each other in the previous life and have the same name as this life. It's very possible Yan Xiangluo didn't know whether she should tell Xuanhuan what the 5th senior brother said, because she didn't know what happened in her previous life. Previously, she was really not sure whether she and Xuanhuan had this name in the previous life, but after seeing the name on this token, she became somewhat convinced. Luoloxan, Xuanhuan looked at her and asked. Yan Xiangluo blinked. Letter. One word made Xuanhuan understand that she not only believed in it, but believed in it very much. What made her believe so much in the past and present life? Could it be just this token? But he didn't think so. Luoluo had a secret in his heart. The two looked at each other for a moment. Xuanhuan looked away and looked at the token in his hand. I believe it too. Not for anything else, just because this is fate with her. Therefore, he is willing to believe that this also shows that they have a very deep fate, so they can meet again and make him fall in love with her at first sight. Hearing what he said, Xianxia was relieved. She had a feeling that this thing must be related to the past lives of the two of them, but she didn't know if it was what those people were looking for, and even if it was, she couldn't give it out. If Xuanhuan doesn't believe it, it's not easy to handle. If he believes it, then Xuanhuan will give it away without her having to say anything. This thing is refined. Although I can't see its use now, I can't let others get it. Let me put this here first. The box has been taken away by us. There is no need to keep the mechanism here. Dismantle the mechanism. I can't tell there were any traps or secret cells here. Xuanhuan removed the mechanism that allowed the bottom panel to open, and then put the bottom panel back in place. In this way, the wardrobe would be a complete wardrobe, and no one would ever discover the mechanism that was originally installed inside. The mechanism is extremely small and there will be no traces after it is removed. This is why Xuanhuan dared to do this. Xianxia didn't object to him collecting the things, as long as he didn't give them to others, and she had a feeling in her heart that this thing should originally belong to Xuanhuan. Will the secret compartment in the study be open tonight? Xianxia asked. Xuanhuan put the wardrobe back and said, "Open it. We must know what is inside as soon as possible so that we can respond promptly." Xianxia asked Zetian to go out on guard and notify her immediately if anyone came. She was worried that the people who came last night would come back tonight. Although she had given them a chance to check during the day, she did not guarantee they would come back at night. With the sky covering warning in place, the two of them left the bedroom and went to the study in the front yard with peace of mind. Although Xianxia came into the study once yesterday, she didn't check it in detail. Now in the middle of the night, they were not in the mood to check, so they directly asked Xuanhuan to find the location of the secret compartment. Xuanhuan came to the innermost row of bookshelves, and pointed his little paw at the wall next to the bookshelf. There is a secret grid on the wooden board of the bookshelf next to the wall. Xianxia and Xuanhuan were speechless. The secret grid was so exquisitely made, and the location chosen was so unexpected. Xuanhuan used his spiritual power to move the bookshelf so that it was half a meter away from the wall to make it easier for them to move around. It is still a flat board. If you don't know that there are hidden compartments inside, you really can't find it. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 397. Chapter 397 Opening the Secret Compartment, 3. Xuanhuan drew out a range with his small paws. The secret grid is right here. It's so big and flat. How to open it is up to you. Although Xuanhuan has a strong treasure hunting ability and is not afraid of any enchantment formations, he really knows nothing about mechanisms. The hidden compartment is at the bottom of the bookshelf, about 1 foot square. Xuanhuan squatted on the ground and looked at it. He finally understood that Xuanhuan should have told them the location of the hidden compartment, but it should still be opened on the other side of the bookshelf. Organ. The bottom of the bookshelf was made into a cabinet, with a double door. Xuanhuan opened the door and took out the books inside. He took them out as he placed them in order to prevent others from being discovered when he put them back. Pass. Then he began to study how to open the hidden grid. Having the experience of opening the secret compartment in the bedroom, Xuanhuan did not do much research. Just relying on his feeling, Xuanhuan quickly opened the secret compartment. Sure enough, it was opened like this again. He was sure of something. The mechanism was opened, and the wooden board on the side of the bookcase against the wall fell down. Fortunately, Xianxia was standing on the side of the wall watching Xuanhuan crack the mechanism, so when the wooden board fell down, she stretched out her hand to catch it. Xuanhuan quickly stood up, took the wooden board and stood by the wall. Then the two of them saw that after the wooden board was opened, there was a painting hanging on the entire wall. It didn't take much to think about it. This bookshelf was tailor-made for this painting. Made to order, the height, length and width are just right. The two of them did not take down the painting, but looked at it. Ruan Xianxia was stunned. This painting was too familiar to her, because it was about the evergreen tree in the 9 heavens. There was also a man and woman under the tree. It was the same couple that Ruan Xianxia saw committing suicide in her dream. Men and women. The only difference is that the painting shows the two people hugging each other and looking up at the evergreen tree in happiness, rather than the tragic image of living and dying together with no regrets in their love that she saw in her dream. Because of this painting, the scene in the dream flashed through my mind again. It is still fresh in my memory and has not been forgotten at all. Xuanhuan felt his soul tremble when he saw this painting. The familiar feeling came back, as if he was in it. The two had different ideas, but they were both shocked by this painting. After a while, both of them came to their senses. Yan Xianxia spoke first. The tree in this painting is the evergreen tree in the 9th heaven. Xuanhuan's eyes widened. How did Luoluo know this? Her tone was so sure. It seems that this painting cannot be left to them. Yan Xianxia thought the same way. This painting was related to the dream she had before getting the divine bead, and it must not fall into the hands of others. Xuanhuan rolled up the painting and put it away. He handed it to Yan Xianxia and said, "This painting will be kept away." Yan Xianxia was not polite. She put the painting directly into the space, on the table in the bedroom. She put away the painting and saw Xuanhuan still staring at the empty grid. "What's wrong? We don't know if these two things are what they are looking for. If they are, if they can't find them, we won't be able to live in peace," Xuanhuan said. Yan Xianxia frowned. "How about we make a fake one and put it inside?" Xuanhuan shook his head. "It's not easy. You can tell that this painting is old at a glance. It has a strong sense of staleness. I can imitate the painting perfectly, but if it doesn't have a sense of staleness, I'm afraid I won't be able to get past it." Yan Xianxia's eyes lit up. She could make the painting look old. Those who sold fake antique paintings in another life had this skill. She looked up some information out of curiosity. She may not be able to match the skills of those who turned modern paintings into antique paintings, but the people here who fooled them should be similar. "I can make the paintings look old," Xuanhuan said in surprise. "Luoluo really surprises me. Is there anything you can't do?" Xuanhuan was indeed surprised that Yan Xianxia still had such ability. Yan Xianxia rolled her eyes at him. "I don't know many things. You have forgotten what I am best at?" Xuanhuan smiled. "This is the first time I know that alchemists can develop so many professions." Yan Xianxia was speechless. She had never thought of this as a career. "There is everything in the space, you go in and paint." Yan Xianxia directly sent Xuanhuan into the space. Her bedroom was divided into a main room with a screen, and the painting was placed on the table in the main room. Xuanhuan didn't waste any time. He took out an empty picture scroll of about the same size, prepared his pen and ink, and after reading the picture carefully, he started to write. Fortunately, because of his health, he has liked to write and draw quietly since he was a child. He never thought that he would be put to use one day. It seems that everything he learns is not in vain. Although Yan Xianxia was outside the space, she could still clearly see the scene inside the space. She saw Xuanhuan painting very quickly from the first stroke down until he stopped at the end, and a fake painting appeared. This painting skill really opened her eyes. Xuanhuan is like a treasure, always surprising her again just when she thinks she knows everything about him. Xuanhuan waved his hand and used his spiritual power to dry the scroll, and then said to Yan Xianxia, "Luoluo needs to do the rest." When Yan Xianxia Xuanhuan started painting, he had prepared the things he needed for making old clothes, including a pot of tea. In fact, it is better to use overnight tea, but now she does not have time to wait for the tea to become overnight tea, so she puts in a lot more tea leaves to make tea. Although the brewing time is short, the color of the tea is not bad. She sprinkled the tea evenly on the scroll, leaving no place missing, then diluted the vinegar she used to eat and sprayed it on it, and finally used her spiritual power to dry it while making sure there were no wrinkles on the scroll. After one pass, the painting did feel a bit outdated, but looking at the original painting, there were still gaps, and the effect was not ideal. Xianxia dyed it again. After 3 times in a row, the painting was finally very close to the original one. Xuanhuan stopped Xianxia, who wanted to do it again. That's enough. They haven't seen the real thing, so how do they know how old it is? Xianxia stuck out her tongue. Yes. Xuanhuan raised his hand and used his spiritual power to eliminate the aroma of tea and the faint smell of vinegar. Xianxia looked at him with a smile. Sure enough, you are very thoughtful. If those people were to get this painting and smell the smell of vinegar and tea, she couldn't even imagine what those people's expressions would be like. One thing was certain, the other party would definitely know that the painting was fake. Even if the suspect was that old woman, will definitely be in trouble for them. The two of them left the space. Xuanhuan untied the rope tied to the original painting, tied it to the newly released painting, and hung it inside. Xianxia thought of the dagger-like token. Can I make a fake one of that and put it inside? End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 398. Xuanhuan shook his head. That one can't be imitated. We can't find the materials needed to refine it for a while. Xianxia knew that since Xuanhuan said no, it must be no. However, no matter how you look at it, the token is more important than the painting. Xuanhuan pressed the wooden board back, and the mechanism was restored. He put the books he took out back in their original positions, put the bookshelf back to its original position, and the two went back to the bedroom. Xianxia felt that she was really tired at this moment, and her heart was tired. The development of things was a bit beyond her expectation. She felt that she should tell Xuanhuan what she knew, so that he could be prepared in case he encountered. You can also know what is going on and have a more favorable judgment. And she felt that Xuanhuan seemed to be recovering the memory of his previous life, otherwise he would not have a familiar feeling. If you tell him what you know and understand, will he recover the memory of his previous life before you do? After all, until now, she has shown no sign of recovering her memory. Xianxia sat down on the chair and poured 2 cups of unfinished tea. Xuanhuan saw this and sat down on another chair. I have something to tell you. Xianxia finally made a decision. It is obviously a matter between the two of them. Why should she bear it on her own? Xuanhuan knew that she had a secret. Seeing that he finally wanted to tell her, he didn't feel much relieved because he had a feeling that this might not be a pleasant thing. Speak, I'm listening. Xianxia got the divine bead when she was practicing in the spiritual spring space, and the dream she had before getting the divine bead. The scene in the dream was the same as in the painting, except that the man and woman died together. I also told Xuanhuan about meeting the senior brother's spiritual photo, and meeting the 5th senior brother's spiritual photo some time ago. After finishing speaking, she felt that the stone weighing on her heart disappeared. After all, she used to bear the burden alone, but now Xuanhuan shared it with her. Since you have decided to accept him, we must share the happiness and bear the responsibilities together. She wanted to know what Xuanhuan was thinking. Xuanhuan looked at Xianxia aggrievedly. Luo, don't believe what the 5th senior brother said. Even if the previous life is true, I will never be someone who always gives up. I will definitely only like Luo. I won't do anything to hurt Luo. Xuanhuan felt that the words of this 5th senior brother implicitly expressed that she was not suitable for Luo. When she heard that there were 6 senior brothers in total, and 4 senior brothers had their spiritual consciousness photos taken, Xuanhuan suddenly felt a sense of crisis, for fear that these senior brothers would not want to see him. He affects Luoluo's feelings for him. Yan Xianluo was speechless. She had said so much and involved so many important contents. He then paid attention to the words that the fifth senior brother reminded him. Is this sentence more important than that information? Xuanhuan felt aggrieved when he saw Yan Xianluo's unspeakable expression. Luoluo, you don't believe me. Yan Xianluo sighed, I believe you, but don't you think the most important thing now is not this? Xuanhuan shook his head, I think this matter is the most important. There is still the second half of the sentence in my heart that I haven't said yet. If you believe the so-called fifth senior brother, will we still have a future, especially if there are four senior brothers? His consciousness was waiting. He had finally pried her heart open, but he didn't want her to close it again. Yan Xianluo was helpless. She really didn't expect Xuanhuan to have such a childish side. However, she also knew that it was because he cared about her, so she wouldn't blame him. On the contrary, she felt warm in her heart. Well, since you think this matter is the most important, then he is the most important. I tell you this because the two things I saw today made me realize that one day we will remember the memories of our previous lives. It will definitely happen. I want you to be mentally prepared for the impact on our state of mind. I believe that no matter what happened in the past life, we must analyze and deal with it calmly. Even if the past life is real, we are not joking in this life. We have come here step by step, and we take every step seriously, and we cannot write it off because of our past lives. Xuanhuan's heart lightened up after hearing Yan Xianluo's words. His little girl was indeed extraordinary. Unlike those women, she always made him feel a tacit understanding. Yan Xianluo paused and continued, obviously, we were all losers in our previous lives, whether it was in relationships or in what we wanted to do. But failure in the past life does not mean that we will fail in this life. If we are lucky enough to awaken from the past life, memory can naturally avoid some factors of failure. And I think the most important thing in this life is not to continue the love and hatred of the previous life, but to summarize the reasons for the failure of the previous life and live a successful life. Xuanhuan's eyes suddenly lit up. Luoluo is right, we will make this life complete and happy. What he was most worried about was that Yan Xianluo would seize on the events of his previous life and get annoyed with him. After all, her senior brother obviously didn't like her. If it weren't for her not awakening her memory, he would have devalued herself as worthless. Now the little girl is more open-minded than he thought, and his previous worries were simply unnecessary. Xuanhuan was so excited that he stood up and walked to Yan Xianluo, picked her up from the chair, and walked around the room in a great mood, venting her joy. Yan Xianluo felt helpless at his childish behavior, but she liked it very much. Although he vented his emotions, it took a while for Xuanhuan's mood to stabilize. He hugged her tightly, put his face against the crook of her neck, and said in a muffled voice, Luoluo, I'm very happy, I like Luoluo, I like her very much. Yan Xianluo was surprised by Xuanhuan's excited confession, and teased him, do you just like it? Xuanhuan was stunned, a little confused, what else is there? Yan Xianluo clapped her fingers and said, you can like many things in this life, including your father who is good to you, your brother who lives and dies with you, your lonely and boring Wuji, and your son in the future. Daughters, grandchildren, etc., but you can't just like me, that's not enough to keep us together for a lifetime. Xuanhuan, who was a little confused at first, suddenly understood after hearing her words, I love Luoluo, I only love Luoluo, I love her very much. At this moment, Xuanhuan finally had a clear understanding of his relationship with Yan Xianluo. He not only liked Yan Xianluo, but loved her. Yan Xianluo's words made him understand that if he just liked her, it would not be enough for him to go to her without any scruples. At this moment, he knew clearly that it was because of love, the kind of love that was engraved in his bones and sealed in his soul. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 399. Now he understands Lugo's painting about the deep affection and unrepentance of the man and woman living and dying together. If it were him, he would also hope to follow Lugo through life and death, never to be separated. Lugo smiled, her bright smile even brighter than the blooming peach blossoms. Kong couldn't help but kiss her on the face, which made her peach blossoms even more beautiful. But he didn't dare to get any closer. Although Lugo accepted him, he also kept me in check and didn't want Lugo to think that he just liked her beautiful face. However, he still couldn't bear to let her go, and finally managed to hold her beloved in his arms, which made her uncomfortable for a long time. By the way, I took you directly to Xianxia City. Your people are here, how can they find you? Lugo remembered this and quickly asked Kong. Hong said, it's okay. When we decided to settle in Xianxia City, I left a message for them. I will leave another message for them in Xianxia City to tell them where we live. Yang Xiang breathed a sigh of relief, then let's settle in tomorrow. Okay, Hong responded. The issue of identity must be resolved first before he can plan anything else. By the way, are we going to buy a few servants? Lugo thought about cleaning the yard and other chores that needed people to do. She and Hong didn't have time to do these. Hong asked, how many servants are we going to buy? Tomorrow I will see how big the yard is and how many servants are needed. After we get the identity tags, we will go to the Yachame to buy the servants. It will be enough. Changfeng and the others will arrange these after they arrive. Lugo is relieved. After all, Hong was born into the royal family before. As the regent, he doesn't need to do these trivial matters at all. He nodded and said, it's almost dawn, let's rest. He has been practicing for so many days and it's time for him to take a good rest. Hong looked at the sky outside. It was indeed almost dawn. In fact, he was not tired at all. But Lugo said he wanted to rest, so he should rest. The two of them went back to their rooms to rest. Hong lay in bed unable to sleep, thinking about when he could marry him back. Even if he came to a strange world, he was unwilling to wrong his beloved girl, so he had to wait until he was able to give her a grand ceremony. Wedding, that's all. Maybe it was because Kong was there that Lugo actually fell asleep, sleeping soundly. When she woke up, it was already broad daylight. After getting up and leaving the room, Hong was not seen. The door to his room was open and no one was in the room. What about people? Lugo came to the well and was about to fetch water to wash up. She found that there was a full bucket of water in the bucket. Hong should have brought it up for her to wash up with. After washing up, I haven't seen Hong yet. After letting go of his spiritual sense, he found that Hong was in the main hall of the front yard, and there were 3 messages inside, and the aura was very strong. Lugo frowned. They couldn't be from Hong. They couldn't be more advanced than she and Hong. They didn't know anyone when they came to Xianxia City. Although Li Changhao would arrive today, he didn't know his true appearance and couldn't come to the door. Therefore, he could only be someone who wanted something in the yard. Sure enough, I didn't give up. As soon as Lugo's consciousness came over, everyone in the main hall felt it. Hong said, my fiancé is awake. Master Ximen, please wait a moment. I'll be back soon. Mr. Ji, please excuse me. Hong stood up and walked to the backyard. He saw Lugo winking at her, and then said, Lugo, Mr. Meng came to visit and said that he was interested in all the furniture in our house and wanted to buy it all. How are you doing, Mr. Meng? Could it be that the person behind the scenes has come out? Yan Xiangleo said impatiently, "What's going on with this guy? Why did he come to buy furniture for us? These are all used old furniture. His vision is really special." Xuanhuan smiled and said, "Everyone has his own merits. It doesn't matter if you sell them, we will replace them all with new ones." Yan Xiangleo said unhappily, "That's so troublesome. I'll go see Mr. Meng. This is the first time I've seen someone with such a hobby." Hualuo and Xuanhuan walked to the main hall of the front yard. As soon as she entered, Yan Xiangleo saw a man wearing a scarlet brocade robe sitting in the guest seat. He should be the Mr. Meng Xuanhuan mentioned. There were two attendants standing behind him, one of whom Yan Xiangleo knew, was the one who accompanied the old woman's nephew to buy antidote pills yesterday. The three of them were surprised when they saw Yan Xiangleo's eyes. The news that they went to Musui continent to investigate last night came back, and they realized that the Yan Xiangleo they saw was not her real face at all. It was said that her appearance was extremely beautiful, even the most beautiful woman in the mainland was inferior to her. When they saw the information, they thought it was a bit exaggerated. Now that they saw Yan Xiangleo's true appearance with their own eyes, they felt that the rumors were not exaggerated at all and did not even fully describe her beauty. Yan Xiangleo said with an unhappy expression, "Why is it you? How effective is the detoxification pill?" The attendant was a little embarrassed. He looked away and touched his nose. "The effect is excellent. Miss Yu is very good at alchemy." "That's natural." Yan Xiangleo rolled her eyes at him, as if she still didn't want to see him because of what happened yesterday. The attendant twitched the corners of his mouth stiffly. Sure enough, beautiful women have bad tempers, especially those who are beautiful and capable. Yan Xiangleo and Xuanhuan walked to the main seat and sat down. Yan Xiangleo glanced at Mr. Meng and said, "Are you the Mr. Meng who wants to buy the furniture in my yard?" Mr. Meng, who had been ignored, had a gentle smile on his face. "That's right. It's a bit rude to come to the door rashly. But I thought in my heart, no wonder Lu Yu can spend so much energy to get someone. His appearance is really stunning, and he does have the ability to make men fall for him. However, my fiancé's appearance is equally stunning, his talent is so strong, and his IQ is not low, otherwise no one would have noticed when he arrived. Lu Yu couldn't get it despite all his efforts and methods. How come I feel a little happy?" However, he was a little wary of Xuanhuan, first of all because of his surname. If he hadn't come from the lower continent, he would definitely doubt whether he was a descendant of that Ji family. After all, someone who can make his people unable to find traces of him shows that he is not an ordinary person. Moreover, Xuanhuan's cultivation level was already at the peak of the 9th level of the clan. They had only come from the lower continent a few months ago. How could they advance so quickly? He even suspected that it was him who had been stuck at the clan level for so many years. Too stupid. Yan Xiangleo nodded solemnly. Rich and powerful people are easily forgiven for their rudeness. Mr. Meng did not get angry but smiled after hearing her teasing words. "Miss Yu is a very special person. The fragrance falls ninefold." Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 400. Chapter 400 The Purpose of Coming. Yan Xiangleo glanced at him and said, "Mr. Meng is very tactful in his words, but I like to be straightforward when doing things, so I won't beat around the bush." Mr. Meng's eyes twitched after hearing her words. He was really direct. "Mr. Meng came to visit today. Coupled with some things that happened yesterday, it's hard not to give me some ideas. Mr. Meng, can you give me a reason to sell the furniture to you? Don't say you like it, do you think I do you believe it?" Mr. Meng's still gentle expression was a little stiff, but it returned to normal in just a moment. He glanced at Xuanhuan, who had been sitting silently since Yan Xiangleo arrived. He was completely different from the impeccable person he was before Yan Xiangleo arrived. To be able to let his fiancée do whatever he wanted was obviously extremely doting. She, however, A woman like Yan Xianglou needs to be beautiful, gifted, and strong. If she were his woman, he would also want to put her in the palm of his hand and pamper her. What he was afraid of was Zhizhou Hong's ability. He came from a lower continent, was not afraid of the power of the continent's master, and was able to leave the Twilight Continent with his fiancée in the hands of Lu Yu. It was obvious that Zhizhou Hong was quite capable. He also understood that today's affairs were decided by Yan Xianglou. In Zhizhou Hong's eyes, he was probably just watching his fiancée play with her. Young lady is indeed a cheerful person, so I'll tell you the purpose. Yan Xianglou nodded, and did not hide that they were from a lower continent. If they dared to come to the door, they must have found out their origins. We will go through the registration process later. Mr. Meng is concise and to the point. Let's settle the matter quickly. I don't want to be disturbed in my daily life. Well, the original owner of this house took my things. I searched everywhere I could, including their storage ring. Now only the house where they lived is left. When the original owner wanted to sell the house, I wanted to buy it, but unfortunately, Miss Yu bought it first. Miss Yu can sell me the yard, or all the furniture and supplies in the house. What do you think? Mr. Meng knew that he would not be able to convince Yan Xianglou to sell the things to him if he stopped revealing some information. As for the yard, he felt that Yan Xianglou might not sell it. After all, she took a fancy to it as soon as she came here yesterday and obviously liked it very much. The reason why she said this was just in case she was willing to sell it. Do you think what you are looking for is in these pieces of furniture? Yan Xianglou looked at him with a weird look in his eyes. Maybe, there is no other way, let's give it a last try. Mr. Meng said that he had no other choice but this tone. Yan Xianglou didn't speak for a while, then turned to Zhizhou Hong and said, Zhizhou, what do you think we should do? Zhizhou Hong was still a little excited when Yan Xianglou called his name directly. Why did these two words sound so good when she said them out of her mouth? Zhizhou Hong looked at her with gentle eyes and said, Lu likes this yard. Mr. Meng wants the things in it, so sell the things in it to Mr. Meng, and we can buy what Lu likes. Originally, he didn't like to use furniture that had been used by others, and he didn't want to feel wronged by Lu. This would kill two birds with one stone. He could not only solve the problem of Mr. Meng, but also get a new batch of furniture. That's okay. Yan Xianglou thought for a while and finally agreed. Mr. Meng was obviously relieved. Yan Xianglou turned to look at him, then what price is Mr. Meng prepared to pay for these things? Mr. Meng and his two attendants were stunned. Listening to her tone, they understood that the price must satisfy her, otherwise they would not sell it. Thinking of buying 5 detoxifying pills and spending 50,000 high-grade spiritual stones yesterday, they suddenly felt a cold wind on their backs, and they felt like their master was about to be opened by a lion again. If it wasn't for the plan yesterday, they would never have bought antidote pills for those 5 rough eons. But today they don't seem to have the capital to refuse. Mr. Meng was also surprised by Yan Xianglou's straightforward bidding. To be honest, although these furniture were made of fine pear wood, they were made by the original owner. Her yard only cost 10,000 yuan. It's very cheap to buy a piece of high-grade spiritual stone. These furniture were given to her by the original owner, but from the look on her face, it's obvious that you gave her too little money. I don't agree. Looking at her, she doesn't look like someone who is short of crystal coins or spiritual stones. Why does she look like she's been tricked into money? But he didn't hate the way Yan Xianglou got into Qian's eyes at all. On the contrary, he felt that Yan Xianglou was much more lively than the more up-to-date women in their family. What price do you think is appropriate? Mr. Meng was not stupid enough to bid the price himself, so he asked back. What Yan Xianglou was waiting for was his words. To put it bluntly, these furniture were all white. She could speak loudly, but she had to be restrained. At least she had to rub the other person's wool without making him angry. Okay, Just let her vent her anger, which will offset the trouble he has caused her in the past 2 days. So as soon as Mr. Meng finished speaking, she immediately turned to look at Jizhong. "Jikong, have you seen everything in this yard?" Jiju nodded and said, "I got up early and took a walk." The implication is that he knows all these things. How many crystal coins or spirit stones do we need to buy these things? Yan Xiangluo really didn't know the value of these things. However, in the eyes of Mr. Meng and the three of them, she was just a young lady who had nothing to do with anything, so they had no way of estimating the value of these things. "Luoluo, do you want crystal coins or spiritual stones?" Jizhong asked. "It's a spiritual stone, it's easy to use," Yuan Xiangluo said. "Crystal coins can only be used as money, while spiritual stones can be used as both money and practice. Therefore, if she could choose, she would naturally choose spiritual stones. All the furniture in the room is made of pear wood. Although it is expensive, in terms of spiritual stones, it should be no less than 2,000 low-grade spiritual stones. If the items in the warehouse are included, at least 3,000 low-grade spiritual stones are needed. The price given by Jizhong is quite satisfactory, even if it is high, it is not much more. But based on his understanding of Luoluo, Mr. Meng would probably have to pay several times the price if he wanted to buy these things. It's not that he said Luoluo was a money addict, it was just that she didn't suffer any loss. How could she let him go easily if he dared to bully her? After hearing Jizhong's valuation, Yan Xiangluo turned to Mr. Meng and said, "Mr. Meng must have heard this. What price can you pay for it?" Mr. Meng saw this kind of operation for the first time. Didn't he tell him the price and asked him to bid? The decision-making power was kicked back into his hands. End of this chapter.